Hello, witches. It's Strigabella. I just got back from the hardware store, getting all the paint colors to paint the new house. And while I was there, I picked up, I think, 6 different varieties of kind of kitchen herbs that I'm going to be growing this year. Hopefully, I'll do a video later and I'll show you the plants. But for whatever reason, I keep killing my rosemary and my lavender, which are supposed to be really easy plants to grow. But for some reason, it seems to work opposite with me. I kill the plants that are considered really easy to grow, and the ones that other people have trouble with are the ones that I tend to do well with. So it's like that with tarot reading. I have a very difficult time reading tarot cards. Other people usually have more difficulty with runes, and it's the opposite. So I was recently answering an email to somebody, and I thought that this was a really good topic to do, especially for new witches and people who are wondering how do they get their spell work or their desires or their prayers to be manifested into reality. A lot of people just ask, how do spells work? How can I be successful? Now, when you first learn, you learn about the tools, but the tools are not really what's necessary. What the tools do is they help you to train your mind to focus. The tools, the herbs, and the process that you go about, maybe researching what it is you're trying to accomplish, what the different phases of the moon mean. Like, for example, waxing is to bring something towards you, something that you want to bring into your life. The waning is to get away, something that you want to get rid of out of your life. And the whole process of learning those things, get it ingrained and get your mind acclimated to automatically be thinking along those lines of how the science of nature really works. I really believe that magic is just an understanding of things to do with science and the way nature works, but in areas that aren't completely understood yet. And I think that they will be someday. For example, some of the stuff that used to be considered witchcraft, they now can understand, like how the colors have different vibrational frequencies, colors and music. It's just the way things vibrate. I just saw something very interesting on that. If I can go back and find out, it was an article talking about how the vibrations of everything kind of all boil down to numbers. I think it was a video I saw on YouTube, and it was very interesting, very cool. It showed how things that are physically manifest, including architecture. Oh, I know, it was about, there's a temple that I don't know if the Mayans did it or the Babylonians. It was some ancient culture, and they devoted a temple to the flower of life, to the way life grows and manifests. And it was to do with how the spiral on a ram's horn doesn't cause the ram as it grows to become unbalanced. And everything in life kind of grows that way. The way the trees grow their branches outward, the way a snail shell grows. And it all boiled down to numerology. And you can see it throughout nature, throughout architecture, and so forth. But that's a little bit too deep compared to what I wanted to talk about. But the idea behind getting your spell work to become real is about building your confidence, building your knowledge, and knowing that what you know is true, and knowing with confidence that what you're doing is going to work because it makes sense. Once you understand how these different energies affect things, it really just makes a lot of sense. And as you grow in living this way, the tools become much less necessary. In a pinch, I can just close my eyes and manifest something if I need to. A good way to work on that skill is do little games with yourself, like try to manifest a parking spot. That's a really good one. I do that all the time. And you'll find that as you get better at it, like 99% of the time you can manifest a parking spot. But it's really about, a good motto is, you do it and then forget it. Because if you are visualizing your goal, you're putting the energy toward what you really want, you know for sure that's what you want, you're confident you did the right stuff to get it, then you shouldn't have to worry. Once you send that energy out there, it'll manifest. But if you are doubting yourself and you're constantly worrying if it's going to work, will it work, when is it going to work, then that self-doubt is going to cause it not to manifest itself. So, in the beginning, as you build up reading and reading and reading, it starts to just become ingrained in you, and it will eventually become like a second confidence. That's why visualization and training your mind to be able to meditate is so important. Meditation is like prayer. If you're just mindlessly wording prayers, like I was in Catholic school my whole life, and I learned all these prayers, but I never really knew what they meant. I was just wording something that I had memorized. That's not going to work. But if you're praying words, and in your mind and in your heart you mean those words, and you really believe those words, it's a whole different ballgame. If you are honestly, sincerely praying to God, to your deity, to spirit, to the universe, if your heart and your intentions and your confidence is all in the right direction and focus towards manifesting something, you will manifest it. Hands down. Whether or not you believe in a religion or witchcraft or anything, it's about the intent, it's about the confidence, it's about your whole sense of why you're doing it being directed towards your goal. So I hope that was helpful. I thought that was a really good kind of question and topic, and I think it's something that we all learn the hard way. Like the first couple times as a young witch that I had something that I did manifest, I was almost surprised. And as you are surprised more often, that confidence really starts to build, and you learn not to be surprised anymore that your stuff is working. And eventually it'll come to a point where you know your stuff is going to work. You don't have to ever doubt that. You can call yourself a confident, powerful witch, and because you are that confident, you don't need to do a lot of spell work. The more you know and the more confident and powerful you get, the less stuff you actually find yourself doing, because you've learned. You've learned what's necessary and what's not. And a lot of the time, our spell work tends to be unnecessary things, because karma and what we put out tends to come back. So, hope that was helpful. Blessed be. Bye.